Welcome, friends,
to the How-To Heretic.
I'm Uncle Mark.
And I'm Uncle Dan.
And this is your user's guide to life on the outside.
That's right. Leaving religion is the first step into a larger, better world.
But can also be a scary world. Things work differently now.
Never fear. That's why we're here.
We're your audio uncles. And with help from good friends and experts in all sorts of fields,
we're going to share the stories and seek the knowledge to build a great life.
After all, you only get one that we know of, so you'd better make the most of it.
Let's do a show.
Let's roll. Well, Uncle Dan.
What?
The show must go on.
Okay, fine. Then let's do it. I'm ready to rock and roll, baby.
The show goes on this week, and we've got some really fun stuff. Our friend and brother from the same mother, Uncle Doug, joins us to talk about a certain group that, unfortunately, we will no longer be able to meet.
Well, but boy, do they love their commandments, and right up until they don't.
Lordy.
Just like everybody else.
Yes, with a profound violation of just one of them, it all came crashing down.
Right, indeed. And then we're going to talk
a beautiful dream came crashing down.
Yeah. You know, if there's one way that I would describe any religion, it's almost never beautiful dream.
No.
I mean, maybe there is somewhere in there.
I'm going to disagree. Not ever.
Okay. Anyway, then we're going to talk a little bit about Mormon astrology.
Yes.
Magic predictions and sorcery that goes on within Mormonism. Don't worry, it's every bit as boring as you're imagining it might be.
The vanilla tarot is coming at you. and then I think we have what I think is a really great segment, which is pretty confessional for all of us. And we're gonna do something that we've been needing to do for a while for our friends and listeners, which is a little bit of a how-to about how to deal with the homophobia that was probably part and parcel to your life when you were in religion.
Yeah, we're going to teach you, or at least talk a little bit about how to get rid of it, because spoiler alert, it's bad. Okay,
it's super bad. So let's do the show.
All righty.
Uncle Dan.
Yes, sir.
I need some inspiration.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, every once in a while, you need some encouragement. You need a little bit of something to tell you something about yourself that's positive, right?
You know what you need?
What's that?
Some soothsaying.
Yes, some augury.
You need some I'm not going to say like astrology or anything, but you need something along those lines.
You need your palm read, you need your cards read. You got to throw the bones.
Your own personal horoscope.
Indeed, and I think I've got just the thing for you.
Well, Uncle Doug is, again, as he is oftentimes, has a little more expertise on this than most of us do. But he's joining us again to talk about, Dan, what you have on offer for this segment.
Here's what we are going to slaughter a sacred cow today.
Oh, boy.
As we talk about the patriarchal blessing. This is all right.
Busted out his jazz theremin again.
Calm down.
I'm a jazz thereminist.
Yes, and will you play jazz theremin today?
It's the electric fields he doesn't wave his hand through. That's really what makes it.
That's really... Oh, it's so good, you guys.
A music major just fell off his chair.
So, we just literally...
He didn't fall off his chair. He fell off his milk crate. He can't afford a chair.
There's one guy who laughed so hard at that, and now we've ruined it.
Okay, what are we talking about?
Okay, so the patriarchal blessing is a thing that happens in Mormonism. It happens in other parts of the LDS movement as well, which we might get to, including the Community of Christ, formerly known as the Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
which are the Shia of the Mormon religion, which is true.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
That's why Missouri is just a moonscape of warring factions.
It should be. How do we get them to actually declare war on each other? I want to see this happen.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But for now, we'll just talk about these patriarchal blessings, which, Douglas, you have in front of you a small laminated card.
I do. If you can hear that, that is my patriarchal blessing.
Wait, it's laminated?
It's heavily laminated, and I don't know why. I can't remember.
This is how it was delivered to you.
Yeah, it's in extremely small print.
Yeah. Let's talk about the thing that you and I now Uncle Mark, you did not get one.
Hold
right?
on, I got to circle back to this. Are they afraid you're going to get it wet?
Well,
Why is it laminated? Like, I can't laminate my fucking Social Security card.
I think it's so I don't ruin it if I come on it. Because that is certainly borne out.
It's definitely hot. It's the
Okay,
sexiest
sorry.
of all the Mormon rites and rituals.
I'm fixated on the lamination. I should get over it. Okay, let's continue.
I think they're just being nice so that it will last forever.
Okay,
It's the foreverness of the thing that's important.
that's what lamination does. It's
That's
eternal.
right. That's right. Now, Uncle Mark, did you not receive a patriarchal blessing? Is that right?
No, and following on Doug's joke, if a man had laid hands upon me, I might actually have come. So I tried to avoid that as often as possible in the complex architecture of my closet. But no, I never actually. Joking aside, I never had one.
Okay. Well, here's
Not an orgasm,
so
a patriarchal blessing.
Right, indeed.
Right.
Let's talk
You never had a
about.
patriarchal orgasm.
Well, no, he's had those.
Oh yeah.
This is the thing. There's a calling within the Mormon Church. All of the hierarchy, all of the structural clergy of the Mormon Church are lay people who have been called, men who have been called to these
very important.
things. And the Patriarch is a calling within this thing. Usually, it's a very old man who is Patriarch for many wards, which are the parishes. Usually, he's for over a whole stake.
I think so, yeah.
A neighborhood area.
So he's kind of a big deal, I guess. And here's what he does. Doug, will you describe what happened to you on that fateful day?
Yeah.
When you were what? How old?
I was 19 or
19?
18. I was going on my mission. I know that people get them at various ages.
Right.
You must have had yours.
What is the criteria? I can't remember. Like, why do you? Is there a certain age where you're supposed to do it by? Because Mormons, they have a lot of age deadlines.
Yeah.
There's no deadline on this one. It is very nebulous as to when and why you get this thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone, it's open to everyone.
You have to be a temple-ready Mormon, which means
you have to be
standing.
You have to be in good standing. Now, I was 16 when I got mine. I think something along those lines.
Yeah.
So no chance of me going to the temple yet, but apparently I needed some extra spirituality.
So let's see if our experiences align. So
Yeah.
I went to this gentleman's house. His name was redacted,
Yeah, let's not do
Yes.
the name.
and his
thing.
address is.
Don't worry, he's
redacted.
dead.
Yeah, right.
He's long
He's
dead.
not around.
His name. They all have the same first name, which is brother.
Yeah.
So,
Are they? Aren't they? Is it brother or is it patriarch? I can't remember what you
well,
call
yeah,
it.
but I mean, you call him brother so and so,
Yeah.
just sort of. But yeah. So anyway, go on.
So I went to his house, and I didn't know him well, which is somewhat uncommon. The patriarch kind of knows everybody, so they have some of your. It's not a total cold read.
Right.
They've got some experience to draw upon, but I didn't know this patriarch very well.
Yeah.
So I went to his house.
I
and-
like that they need like white Mormon boys on the east side of Salt Lake City. That there's such differentiation between them that he needs some information on. Right?
Right.
and went into his living room. We spent a few minutes talking, just chatting. Mm-hmm. Again, so we could have something to draw on. And then
And you
he
strip down into your garments
very
and
slowly
things
stripped down.
Got weird.
And then
It got weird, but not in that strippy sort of way.
he turned on a recorder, and then he put his hands on my head. And
Now wait, was Sister so and so in the room?
Sister so-and-so was not in the room, if I recollect, and I think it might be because he was a widower.
Oh, okay.
So normally you had Sister so-and-so,
I
right?
had brother so and so and wife sister so and so in the room. She was the one that pushed record on the recorder.
Was she doing one of those little courtroom stenographer things?
No, she was just. What's funny is for me, it was this was back in late '80s, early '90s,
Yeah.
and yet the tape recorder that they had still seemed impossibly old-fashioned to me. I'm not sure how
wood grain cabinets and everything.
Totally.
It was a wire recorder.
The 2 big reels of tape.
Yeah, it was something like that. Anyway, so yes, she was the one that was making sure that it was getting recorded, but not for you. You had a good Ayn Rand style, rugged individualist patriarch.
My patriarch pulled himself up by his own bootstraps.
Indeed.
And he pushed record, and then he put his hands upon my head and gave me about.
So hold on, were you guys alone? Like
alone.
Just the 2 of you?
Yep.
I think that's weird. Okay, let's go on.
This is a very special thing, and it's just for you.
The Mormon Church is, as we all know, grappling with the having children be alone with an adult thing.
Right.
This is well before that movement began.
Yes.
And he put his hands on my head and he gave me about a 7-minute blessing. I haven't actually timed it out. So it seemed like about 7 to 10 minutes.
Mine seemed like 4 hours.
Yeah, no doubt.
But was probably actually in that range.
Yeah, and as a Mormon, you're taught to believe that this is going to be this is like basically the patriarch puts his hands on your head and receives personal revelation about you.
Right.
And there will be prophecy that could come true. There will be like tidbits of like information. You're going to find out incredible things.
Yeah, I mean, the way that this is spoken of and the way that this is sort of geared up for you is that you're going to go in, a man's going to put his hand on your head, and then God's words are going to come out of his face hole.
Yep.
And that's that. So you will get, literally, God's going to speak to you through this old man.
And there's stories all through growing up in the church. There's stories about my wife's name was in my patriarchal blessing, or it told me once to not, always look left before you cross the street, and I almost got hit by a semi.
Right.
And I'm not exaggerating.
No. It's like this is
a big deal.
Revelation from God, specifically for Uncle Doug.
Yeah. And Uncle Dan, how was your blessing?
Like most, I would say probably most of the. Now, here's the thing. I'll temper this. I went into this thing. I was in a period in my life when I needed Mormonism to be true. I was really working at it, and I was a devout believer and a teenager, and a dramatic teenager at that. So somebody who wanted this shit to be magic. Like, this was as close to the fucking Force as we were going to get.
No doubt.
And so it was one of the most painfully disappointing experiences of my life.
That's a very. I was just about to leave on my mission.
Yeah.
And you have to get this done before you can go. And I was the same way. It was like I was ready to find out so much about my future and blah, fucking blah. Mm-hmm. And it was the most pedestrian, boring. It sucked.
Here, gimme. I'm going to read. I've never read your thing, but I am going to read from this is from Doug's patriarchal blessing.
Prepare to be disappointed.
Right. So, ladies
always
and gentlemen,
remember to put the shower curtain inside the tub when you use the shower. Make sure you clean the lint filter every time. That way it'll be more efficient.
You have no idea how much less useful these things are than the shit that you're saying.
Exactly.
The shit that you're saying is actually of value. Okay, we're going to go in. Douglas McLaughlin, redacted. By authority, McLaughlin is your middle name. I'm going to point out that is not your whole. By authority of the holy Melchizedek priesthood, and in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I place my hands upon your head and pronounce your patriarchal blessing. So already we've wasted a lot of time just sort of expressing what's happening right now.
He's describing what's going on in the room as if you're not there.
And he could just say paragraph 1.
Right, yeah, exactly. This boilerplate. Unfortunately, the rest of it is also pretty boilerplate.
Totally.
Douglas, this blessing comes through your faithfulness and the righteous desire that you have to do the will of the Father. The Lord loves you, and you are very special to him. You were valiant and faithful in the pre-existent world, where you fought on the side of God and his angels for the plan of salvation.
Yeah, you hear that shit?
Right? That sounds exciting, but by the point you're hearing this, Doug, you've heard that a million times.
A million times. Doesn't make it not true.
Right. You
Well,
helped
look.
Yeah.
We know that he was valiant in the war in heaven in the pre-existence because he's white.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true.
Right. And we'll get there another time, but that's
At
true.
that moment in history, blah blah blah. It's that for the whole thing. I don't think I can read it.
Here, let me find a couple little tidbits that are funny.
Before you get there, I am going to say that one of the things. So what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? What we can expect from all patriarchal blessings is the only things that we know for sure are going to happen are that yes, you're going to hear about. You're going to receive a blessing, and you're going to hear about some nice things about your life, and you're going to receive your lineage.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know Mormonism, you may not know that we are Jews. Mormons are Jews.
And Mormons actually refer to non-Mormons as Gentiles.
Yeah.
Can I tell you how confusing that was to me growing up? I'm like, what are we even talking about? How does this work? I didn't get it at all.
Yeah. I mean, my parents sent me to the Jewish Community Center for for summer school and for preschool and stuff. So I grew up very confused. I had my picture in the paper lighting a menorah, for God's sake. Anywho,
It wasn't even Hanukkah.
Right. They just like taking pictures of me. I was very sexy as a 5-year-old. Anyway, this lineage thing is one of the most bizarre things that happens, which is that you are declared a member of one of the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
Which is actually not 12 tribes. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Here's the thing. Israel, a.k.a.
Judea. No.
The guy. Why can't I
Abraham,
think
Isaac, or Jacob?
Jacob, thank you. Jacob became Israel, and the 12 tribes of Israel are just like the descendants of his sons, except for the fact that, and I didn't know this until I was doing research for this dumb thing and sort of went down a dumb rabbit hole. There are 2 tribes, and these happen oddly to be the 2 biggest tribes in patriarchal blessings.
Yeah. Almost every Mormon is
either.
In fact, I don't know of any who hasn't, but then I don't really know.
Right. Ephraim
or care.
and Manasseh are the 2 big tribes that you're going to be sorted into by your sorting hat.
That's totally what it
old
is.
Man.
Yeah.
Who are not actually sons of Jacob.
Oh, really?
They are sons of his son Joseph, who he did like there's a whole bizarre thing.
I kind of remember
It's
that.
so weird. Anyway, everyone's sorted into one of these tribes, and the tribes all have like different qualities to them. But there is one amazingly accurate way to predict which tribe you have been sorted into.
Oh, really?
Let me guess.
I can go up to any Mormon and pretty much guess what tribe they've been sorted into.
Can I guess?
Yes, please do.
Blonde hair, brown hair.
Yeah. Color of skin is the big one.
Oh, my God.
Ephraim is for white folk, and Manasseh is for brown folk.
Oh, my God.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much almost across the board. Every now and then, someone theoretically could be sorted into the tribe of Levi or the tribe of,
Levi, if you're sorted into the tribe of Levi, you get some, like, perk, right?
You get, there are prizes, I think. Yeah, I mean, none of it makes any sense at all. But yeah, the truth is that basically it's just one of the 2 tribes, and one's for white folk and one's for black folk.
So which one am I?
You're Ephraim.
Wrong.
What?
I'm House Atreides.
Atreides. That's true. They were redheads in the David Lynch film.
No, those are the Harkonnens.
Oh, that's right.
Stop
That's
it.
right. That's right.
Stop it, you nerds. You're killing us all. You're murdering us piece by piece.
You're correct. I am House Ephraim.
Will you read that little bit from your laminated card?
It says, Douglas, you are of the lineage of Ephraim, and it is through that Israelite leader that you will be blessed to gain exaltation and eternal life. As part of your mission as one of the sons of Ephraim, it will be necessary for you to proclaim the gospel throughout your life, to assist in bringing about the obligation that was placed upon Ephraim to gather from the 4 quarters of the earth the honest in heart.
Let me tell you something. You being a son of Ephraim, that is not a bloodline. Here's what's weird about this. You're not a Jew. I don't know if you know this. So
I am circumcised.
well, there is some evidence to the contrary, but so this is one of the weirdest things. They literally but they mean it in a sort of semi-literal way, like, and it'll be funny because there are some people who are sorted into a different tribe of Israel than family members.
Oh, really?
And when that happens, they explain it by saying that that we all have so many different bloodlines in us that it's
Which
very
is
possible.
true,
right?
But is it true? Can it be true that if you come from the same biological parents, that you're of a different bloodline than your sibling? No,
I'll tell you what
can't be true.
I'll tell you what can be true. Shut up. That's what can be true. Shut your cornhole.
Yeah.
It's getting hot. Let's take a theremin break.
No. No, there is some issue with this. The Mormons used to, even before they let the black folks have the priesthood or go to the temple, they would allow them to have patriarchal blessings. And that was funny because they did not. What they wouldn't do is sort them into a lineage.
No.
So yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't just say you're from the house of Cain.
Well, that did happen sometimes.
Oh, Lord.
That
Really?
did happen on occasion. Most of the time, what they would do is just not give them a lineage. They would just skip that little part on their laminated card. But for decades, going all the way back to Joseph Smith, what they would often do is just leave the lineage thing off.
That's just being a good host.
Right.
That's just good manners.
There was some awkwardness in the 70s when it started to come back, when they allowed people of African descent to go to the temple to have the priesthood. Suddenly, it was like, do we give them lineage? What do we do? And even before that, there was some very interesting stuff where, for instance, in Brazil, every now and then, someone would be given a lineage. And that was basically what that ended up meaning was that particular black member wasn't a descendant of Cain. Because how could they be? They just got a lineage. In which case, then they could actually go to the temple. Like it was this whole kerfuffle. If the old doddering old man accidentally gave them was just doing their rote thing,
Yeah, right.
and accidentally stumbled down and gave a lineage to a black guy, or lady, because even though only men can give a patriarchal blessing, men and women receive the patriarchal blessing. Anyway, that's a weird rabbit hole to go down, because that's only one part of this thing, and in the end, it doesn't actually mean anything.
It means nothing.
You can't. I really tried to figure out what it meant for a minute when I was young, that I was in the tribe of Ephraim, and there were no answers forthcoming about
Look,
that.
it's just Dungeons and Dragons.
It
right?
totally is. And
for people that are terrified, and believe me, Doug, you remember growing up, my parents didn't like face cards. They were freaked out by Ouija boards. They were like, I didn't even know what tarot was until
Pink
I was
Floyd.
in college.
Pink Floyd's "The Wall" was the most terrifying thing for my mother.
For people who
she
think
should have listened to Dark Side of the Moon.
Agreed.
That's where she comes from. But for people who are so afraid of kind of sorcery and witchcraft and all that shit, it just seems to me the patriarchal blessing is, a kind of mayonnaise-infused version of that, right?
Yeah, it's...
Well, yeah. And for many of the listeners probably know that we're here in Utah, not all of us at the same time right now, but there is a town in Utah called Ephraim. Mm-hmm. And it's not a club one would want to be a member of.
It's a wonderful place.
To the listeners in Ephraim, they know it's true.
You know what you did.
We don't have listeners in Ephraim, I'm sorry.
Not anymore.
I'm going to tell you an interesting fact about these things. I want Doug to tell us a little bit more about his thing. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you an interesting fact historically about this practice, which is that the first patriarch was actually Joseph Smith's patriarch.
Yeah, that's right.
Joseph Smith Sr. He actually made his daddy the first patriarch of the church. But then this interesting thing, the more people he called to this calling, a very fascinating thing started happening, which was that you would pay for a patriarchal blessing.
Oh.
So Mormons would pay, like, in the 1840s, it was like $1 per blessing in Nauvoo. And
Did you say a dollar, or a daughter?
I'm sure it's negotiable.
It's about the same price.
I'm guessing it's negotiable one way or the other.
Depending on the exchange rate, yeah.
Right, exactly. By the end of the 19th century, it was $2 per blessing. Eventually, that was ended. The practice of paying was ended, but you could still tip your patriarch. So I think that's for those who know Mormonism, that's fucking amazing.
That's brilliant. And first of all, Mormons don't tip.
No,
Exactly.
Like, anybody who works in the service industry knows Mormons don't tip.
They're the worst.
Yeah, so clearly that has gone out of fashion.
I fucking love it
I
so
didn't know.
much.
Yeah, perhaps if I'd tipped better, I would have gotten a better
Right?
blessing.
Well, the trick is to tip before you get your blessing so that you get
Right.
the good one. You know what I mean? Hey, here's a little something for you. Thank you. Maybe mine's extra good. I don't know.
Push that crumpled up old dollar bill into his Mr. Mac suit.
Right. Right.
That was a deep cut.
All right. So let's get back to things that you've learned about yourself from this blessing. This man's got his hands on your head.
Yeah.
And he's talking at you.
I mean,
And he blathers on for a long time.
It's so pedestrian. It's just okay. So I lost this for a long time, and like oh shit, it's gone. And it's at the time I left the religion, became an atheist for like a decade. I didn't know where this thing was, and I found it in a box of old pictures, and I was like, oh great, this is cool. Because I'm sure it's got all kinds of funny, silly stuff in there. And I read it, and I'm like, I'm disappointed now.
Right.
I was as disappointed as I was then.
These things tend to be so bland
Yeah.
that you can't possibly. Yeah.
It says I'll have the power of discernment to know the promptings of God. I've been called to be an ambassador, which is my mission. I'll find a lady and get to making whoopee.
Now
It's funny that it was singular, lady.
Right. Well, I mean,
if you know Doug,
he's found a lady or two.
yeah.
And then the only part I thought was kind of funny is it talks at the end. It tells me I've got a strong and healthy body, which clearly did not come true.
Right.
And then it says Satan is aware of who you are. He will tempt you and try you. There will be difficulties, obstacles, and tribulations in your life, but nothing beyond that which you will be able to overcome through faith, diligence, and the application of the principles of the gospel. That just seems like such a threat.
Yeah.
Like Satan knows who you are personally.
Okay. So in that reading that you did, you've hit upon two things that I wanted to talk about with this thing here. The first is that for almost everybody, there's the promise of a spouse.
Yep.
And usually children. Did yours?
Yeah.
Yours did give you some kids too?
Blessed Holy Temple, sealed for time and all eternity. To that union will be born spirit children of our Heavenly Father, entrusted to you to teach and direct during their mortal probation.
Right. So
Weird. That's so fucking weird.
here's the thing.
Mortal probation.
Right. But
Is that what life on Earth is? Is mortal probation?
That is
That's
exactly
they
what
think,
life
isn't
on
it?
Earth
that's
is.
what
Yep.
they think. Yes.
Jesus.
And here's what's fucked up. Some people can't find a spouse. Some people find a spouse and cannot have children. What the fuck do you do with with God's own words telling you that you can't that you're doing it wrong?
I'll tell you what you do.
Especially because it's been laminated.
Right.
I'll tell you what
here's
you do.
the thing.
You fall into a spiral of self-loathing and depression. That's what you do.
Well, that's what you actually do.
Yeah.
But there's a workaround, which is
There's always a workaround.
this can happen in heaven. This is an eternal blessing, and so it extends past this mortal probation into into eternity, so you can have your spirit kids in heaven if you fail here on earth.
Loophole, meet Mack Truck.
Right, exactly. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was, and you had read a thing. Well, oh fuck! This is why the ADHD is not a good thing to have if you're a podcaster. You had talked about, what was the other thing?
Satan knowing him? It was Satan.
It was Satan.
It's always Satan.
Was it Satan?
Well, you think about that. There is. I am also promised that through my faithfulness, I will be blessed to come forth in the morning of the first resurrection, which is a very specific thing that Mormons believe, that there is a series of resurrections, and if you're brought forth in the morning of the first one, you're definitely righteous.
Right, good. You're a good white, good person. Yes,
that's right.
You're a perfectly upright white.
Oh man,
so confused.
Here's what I wanted to, I guess what I wanted to get to. I mean, I did want to talk about my aunt, who was a beautiful soul and a dear, dear woman, and a deep believer in this stuff. And she had a marriage, and she had kids, and then her husband started doing things that he oughtn't to have been doing with humans that he oughtn't to have been doing it, at least according to how their marriage was set up.
He was drinking coffee with Lamanites.
Indeed, he was. And she divorced him because he was, he was a philanderer. But knew that she was going to find another husband because her patriarchal blessing told her that she was going to go to her grave with another man or something like that.
Right.
With a man. And to her dying day, remained single the whole time. And this was a thorn in her, like this painful little thing. Somehow, and the point of it was, the problem of it was, she had done something wrong.
Yep.
She wasn't able to make this promise happen, like this prophecy of her personal life wasn't working, and part of the dealio was that she had to blame herself, because the only reason these things don't work is is your sinfulness, your working. So like the fact that Doug's prophecies didn't come true, and he doesn't have a wife, and he doesn't have children. The way that the Mormons
that you know of.
Don't so bad.
Oh my God,
so bad.
We'll cut that part out. It's fine.
Yeah.
Is that Doug's sinfulness has taken him away from God, and therefore made these prophecies not come true.
The last sentence says, "These blessings are predicated upon your faithfulness, worthiness, obedience, and desires to do the will of the Lord and keep his commandments." So that's exactly right. If these don't come true, it's on you.
It's on you. So
right,
which is
I just
fine
made this shit. I just made this shit up.
Right.
But if it doesn't work out, your life is going to be an empty, hallway of pain and darkness. So good luck.
Right.
Don't forget to tip your patriarch.
And it's not and it's not even I just made this shit up. It's I just said the same thing to you that I've said to 300 people before you, and I will keep saying to people after you. But if it doesn't work, if these amazing and astounding personal predictions for your future don't work, you fucked up.
Yeah.
And my aunt went to her grave believing that.
Oh.
There's deep pain that comes. If you ever hear a Mormon talk about their patriarchal blessing, which, by the way, these are deeply personal things.
Yeah, you're supposed to share them with your spouse.
You share them. Yeah, maybe you share it with a close family member.
Or your children when they come of age,
or someone. Even if you might share it with someone in the ward who might need a pick me up or lesson of some sort.
You share it with the guy who laminates it. Yeah.
Well, sure. He's already seen it. But these are so deeply personal that you're not supposed to just share them with anybody. So if you hear a Mormon talk about their patriarchal blessing, you won't hear them say, "I was disappointed. No. I was, it's not coming true for me, and I don't know why." All you'll hear them say is, It's the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
What a wonderful blessing it is to have. What a wonderful thing. How grateful I am to be in a gospel that has this power.
And because I, like you, I am sure, felt guilty about my disappointment.
Oh, yeah.
And I made up for it by pretending this had more meaning than it did.
I wasn't able to get that far. I wasn't able to pretend anything, but I knew I was bad. I knew that there was something deeply wrong with me here's what I did. I took its generic nature, which I instantly recognized. I instantly was able to see, even as a 16-year-old, oh shit, this is less specific to me than my fucking horoscope.
Right.
I had assumed that was because I was sinful.
Yeah.
Because you're such a Leo.
Right? It's so true. So that's the mind fuck that this is. It seems harmless because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
But actually, there's like this really dark undercurrent to this thing.
I agree.
Yeah. Let's not do them anymore.
I'm not going to get another one. I know that.
I'm not going to pay for it.
Well, yeah, you can't.
Well, Doug, if it's laminated, it's true.
I'll tell you what, if they
Right?
do a 2-for-1, I might think about it.
Right? I think, it might be fun. It might be interesting.
Well, my patriarchal blessing says that we should move on.
Okay. Well, that one we can make come true. So we'll move on.
Moving on. Uncle Dan.
Uh-huh.
I feel like from time to time it's important to meet new people.
Well, you got to get out there. You got to get out there, and you got to shake some hands. And
You got to put yourself out there, and from time to time you got to join a cult.
Every now and then, I think that's important, and because of that, I think who better to guide us through that process than Uncle Doug? Uncle Doug, hello.
Hello.
Yes, ex-cultist Uncle Doug. Ex and probably future. Let's not doubt ourselves.
Yeah, but this time as a leader.
That's right.
He's a joiner.
That's right. This time I'm going to do the poisoning.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to make everybody commit suicide instead of being the one that bails at the last minute.
I'm so averse to like after like recovering from Mormonism. I'm so averse to joining things. I don't have a Starbucks card. I don't have like any of that stuff. Like they're like, oh, sir, you could save 10%. I'm like, no, fuck off. I'm not joining you. No.
I'm not far from that. I'm sort of on the same. Would you like to be a member of our? Fuck you.
Fuck, I know how this ends.
This isn't good. You're gonna make me
Get
leave
out
my
while you
family,
can.
aren't you?
Get out while you can. And I make this big scene, and amazingly, I don't get arrested at Starbucks. I wonder why.
Well,
Interesting.
What? Yeah.
We'll,
what you got today?
we'll
What you
figure
got
that one
today
out
there?
later. But for now, Doug, take us through it. What do we got here?
Well, today I'd like to introduce you to the Movement for the Restoration of the Ten Commandments of God, or the Murtikug. We'll call them the Movement. This is a...
Doug's taking a movement, everybody.
I'm taking a movement. This breakaway sect of the Roman Catholic Church was founded in Uganda in the late 1980s.
Oh, that can't
so
go
this-
well.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
Yeah, and so, dear listeners, please steel yourselves for a very uncomfortable white guy pronouncing badly a bunch of African names for the next few minutes. So forgive
This
me,
is
please.
going to be a dramatic reading of the Book of Mormon, the musical by Uncle Doug.
Yeah, totally. So one of the founders was named Credonia Mirindi. And by the way, she was a woman. I'm not being sexist. I just didn't realize that until I'd gotten pretty far into my research. So there you go, Me Too movement. You've got your own female mass murdering cult leader. Congratulations.
Sweet.
Her and Joseph Kibwetiri and B. Tate founded this religion. And they founded it when Mirwindi, who was a brewer of banana beer, and Kibwetiri, a politician, claimed to
Wait,
have...
can we talk about banana beer? Is that a thing?
I'm so glad you asked. What the fuck is banana beer? It's a good question, Uncle Mark. Banana beer is made from the clear banana juice of ripe bananas, which is produced after kneading the ripe bananas into a pulp and then filtering it through a cheesecloth.
Oh, my mom used to yell at me for doing that.
Really? Kneading bananas?
Yeah.
So you have to use ripe bananas, and how do you know if your banana is ripe? Here's a helpful mnemonic. If by hand your banana you cannot peel, then ripe it ain't, and stupid you should feel. So Please use that handy guide.
Wow, this went completely sideways.
And then ground sorghum is added, and then the whole mess is allowed to ferment for 24 hours. So
sorghum.
This is why we don't let a guy who's in charge of an actual brewery do segments on our show.
So
Yeah,
I have never had
unhelpful.
banana beer, and at the risk of sounding at best culturally insensitive and at worst downright racist, I can pretty much guarantee it's fucking terrible. But that's banana beer.
Although we might make you do it because you are the one of us that has access to a brewery.
Can truly appreciate the bouquet.
We're going to make you get your brewers on that. I want to taste this stuff.
I actually reached out to them yesterday and asked if they'd ever heard of banana beer. And both my brewers wrote back, and they're like, dude, it's 420. Leave me alone.
Oh, well, at least they responded, and that's a good
Yeah,
sign.
totally.
Yeah, that's impressive right there.
True. It was early in the day. Back to the story. So many times on this podcast, we've talked about the fact that no one really lives by the Ten Commandments because it would be impossible and silly.
Yeah.
However,
Right.
the movement actually tried. In fact, following the Ten Commandments was their only real animating force. As such, their adherents were discouraged from talking so as not to accidentally break the ninth commandment, which is...
No shrimp before breakfast.
No, it's a weasel-based commandment. It's
no false witness.
Oh, okay.
So they actually communicated mostly by sign language.
Wow.
Among other rules, fasting was practiced often, only one meal was eaten on Fridays, and sex was forbidden, as well as soap. Which
Wait, hold
seems
on,
the
hold on.
wrong order of those last two.
Hold
it
on.
seems
Are you saying they only ate one meal a week?
on Fridays. No, they only ate one meal on Fridays.
Oh, okay. Like, Jesus Christ.
I'm
people are
also
crazy.
confused about sorry, can I go back to sign language, which
Yeah.
apparently you can't bear false witness in?
Exactly.
Like, I didn't know that all deaf people could not tell lies. I was not
Yeah.
aware of that fact.
It's good
It's
to
a
know
strange
now.
quirk. It's a strange quirk of hearing loss. Is dead honesty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they banned soap and sex, which seems one follows the other, I assume.
Yeah, right.
Why? What is? Okay, I get the sex, but what does soap have to do
I don't
with?
know. I don't know.
The Ten
That does
Commandments.
seem really, really weird. Like, there is no... Okay, we have done extensive
Exactly.
explication of the Ten Commandments on this show, and none of it has ever come up with anything regarding cleanliness.
I don't know what the soap thing is about. I
Maybe
don't know.
maybe it's because if you are absolutely stinky and dickishly honest, no one will covet you.
That makes a lot of sense,
That's
actually.
pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, I think we cracked that one.
And they won't talk either, so really nothing cool happening there.
Yeah. Who'd want to be
Silent
them?
treatment.
Who'd want to fuck one of them? Although the group had broken with the Catholic Church, their beliefs and iconography were mostly made up of Catholic traditions, and their clergy was actually made up in part by defrocked priests and nuns.
Oh.
Yeah, and so the movement was born out of a particularly fraught time in the history of Uganda on the heels of the Idi Amin administration, the AIDS pandemic, and the Ugandan Bush War. People, for some reason, were turning away from the condom-denying, strongman-supporting, child-fucking Church of Pope John Paul II. Go figure.
Weird.
So the ground was pretty much ripe for self-proclaimed messiahs saying the world was about to end, because in Uganda in the late 80s, it basically had.
Right.
It was a
Yes,
tough time.
the cohesive force that Idi Amin brought to Uganda, the loving, paternal, fatherly. What good old days.
Those were the days. So
Yeah.
the movement took off when a popular defrocked priest with a PhD from the U.S.
A PTSD.
named Dominic Kataribabo joined up, and that was kind of their big moment. He took the group from a little small group into a much larger one with his following.
Can we call them all Bobos just for my enjoyment?
They're not around anymore, so they're not. I guess I just
They
gave
can't-
away the ending, didn't
They
I?
can't stop me.
There's some dark foreshadowing, I feel. Yeah.
So the group took up residence in some pineapple and banana fields in Uganda and started living communally. You'd sell all your assets when you joined up and give the proceeds to the church, and then they would administer it.
And they'd give you
What an
banana beer.
unusual thing for
Yeah,
cults
exactly.
to do.
Right.
Right now, we're proceeding down a very well-trod path for cult behavior.
Yep.
Yeah.
Classic.
We will step into a different path in a minute.
Classic stuff.
Murindi claimed to be receiving messages from Virgin Mary through everyday objects and predicted that the end of the world would be the turning of the millennium.
Wait,
2000,
wait.
not 2001.
They have tortillas in Uganda?
Did I say
How is
tortillas?
the Virgin? Well, no, how is the Virgin Mary appearing to them through everyday objects?
Apparently, literally through lamps and telephones and tables, she would get revelations from everyday objects.
I love this idea. I love the idea of like someone saying something to her, and she's mad at them, and so she picks up the nearest pencil case and is like,
What'd you
"Hello,
say? Yeah.
yes,
Tell me again.
kick her out. Okay, you're gone."
In my mind, she's answering a banana. Hello, Virgin Mary?
So, unsurprisingly, the Ugandan. Oh, you know what? Though I skipped a part. They predicted the end of the world at the turn of the midnight in the year 2000, and these people took it very seriously. They sold their property. They stopped working their fields. They quit their jobs, and then, unsurprisingly, the Ugandan Y2K did not happen.
What?
Yeah. So the movement went into kind of immediate crisis mode as many adherents wanted their money back. The movement started to fracture. And so very quickly the leadership predicted another date for the end of the world, March 17th, 2000, as they had apparently forgotten to carry the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a classic mistake.
It's one of the big blunders. Boy, the biblical math is hard.
It is. So we've seen this many times. A cult predicts a rapture date. It doesn't happen. They try again. It doesn't happen. And eventually the whole thing just kind of spins out and collapses under its own weight.
Or doesn't.
And this is not what happened with the movement. I think it's the movement as it looked around the world and saw these other pussy cults said, "Hold my banana beer." So in celebration, here's where we take a turn. In celebration of the end of the world on March 17th, the night before, the movement held a huge party in Kanungu, where they roasted 3 bowls and drank 70 crates of soda pop, which are 2 very interesting facts. And while the party was in full swing, the place suddenly caught fire, went up in flames, and killed 530 people, including
Christ.
dozens of children.
Yikes.
Ugandan authorities discovered that the windows and doors had been boarded from the outside.
Oh, shit. So this was not an accident.
No, and nor was it a suicide. At this point, the Ugandan authorities decided to take notice. They searched movement properties all over Uganda, and they discovered, this is pretty macabre, 6 bodies sealed in a latrine in Kanungo, 153 bodies at a compound in Bahunagi, 155 bodies in a compound in Rugazi, where they had been poisoned, stabbed, and strangled, and another 81 bodies at one of the cult leaders' farms. The death toll of this orgy of violence totaled 924 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was determined that it was not a mass suicide, but a mass murder by the cult leaders in order to prevent losing control of the cult.
Well, I mean, there's some logic to that. Like, if they're all dead, you still win. You still are in charge.
For them, the prophecy came true.
Right. But it does seem like one of the main ways that your cult is a success is by having a bunch of adherents. And if you kill them all, that feels a little less successy.
Right. Well, the cult was disintegrating, right? So
yeah. So they just decided to kill them all.
To take their ball and go and burn everybody and then go home.
Did they suicide along with everybody they killed?
So right after the 2000 prediction didn't come true, they set that May 17th date and then apparently went immediately to work in deciding and figuring out how to kill all these people. So that was the time they needed to assemble the poison and the plans.
3 months.
What's that?
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah.
And apparently the leadership was thought to have died in the fire, but people believe that both Joseph Kitabwiri and Credonia Mirende are alive and hiding in Malawi.
Really?
Yeah, that the 2 of them got away. And this, obviously this kind of shook Uganda, which is saying something because Uganda's had some fair shakes. And the vice president at the time, Dr. Specioso Windiri Kazibwe, said these were callously well-orchestrated mass murders perpetrated by a network of diabolic, malevolent criminals masquerading as religious people, which is a sentence that can be applied unedited to pretty much every religion's leadership at one point or another.
Yeah, that was and beautifully crafted sentence. Very nicely spoken, but Jesus Christ. And so
Lord.
There's been no effort to hunt these fuckers down, and
I think that the list of the police or whatever, the UNICEF or whatever, what is it, Interpol, list of people to hunt down in Africa is probably pretty long. I don't know where these guys land on it, but as of now, there's thought to be hiding in Malawi. So there you go.
I just feel like is it just me? I feel like, and believe me, I don't remember. I don't remember all of the 10 Commandments right off the top of my head. But it feels like there was one that's about not doing what they did.
Graven images. That's the one.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Which is the one about not wasting 70 cases of soda pop on the sacrifice that will be a sweet savor unto the Lord.
Right? Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. If you're going to kill them all, don't give them soda.
Yeah, just give them one case of soda.
Right. Let them fight
Also,
over it.
what is with sugary drinks and mass murder suicide cults?
Well, how do you suggest you mass suicide without it, Mark?
If that is a direct correlation, we need to keep an eye on all our Mormon friends because something's going down.
Oh, yeah, they are into the sodas. They like their sugar drinks. Well, okay, that's terrifying.
So that's
Uncle
that.
Doug. Thanks for really bumming us out.
Yeah, super good time, and everybody enjoy your banana beer.
Yeah, go out there and at least, if nothing else, if you've learned nothing else from this segment, just know that you can make horrible beer from bananas.
Exactly.
I think that's the takeaway.
You're welcome for that pearl of wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on, shall we?
Let's move on.
Uncle Mark.
Here I am.
We have some folks that we need to be thankful to.
Well, just, yes, we always do, and it's always good to be thankful.
Yes.
But there's some specific folks we want to thank in person tonight.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
And these are people who not only do they want to support their favorite uncles,
Yes.
but they also want access to an early version of the show, and coming up pretty soon. I've been promising this for a little bit, but actually some bonus content will be coming out. That's kind of fun, and you can get all of that by becoming a patron. By going to I almost did it again. Oh,
you know what? You can support Thank God I'm Atheist too because it's awesome.
I'm a two-show guy, and sometimes that just fries.
He's a two-timing podcaster.
And I'm a bear of very little brain, so sometimes you get things wrong. Go to howtoheretic.com, and then you'll find the patron button there. And you know, you give us a little bit of your money, and it helps make the show go, and it's so useful.
For $1, you get early access, and it's $4 a month, which is enough for Dan and I to do something. So throw that in there, and we're going to make it worth your while.
Yeah. So thanks this week so much to Danny and Nicole, who are our newest patrons. Not a huge showing this week, but I can't tell you how grateful we are.
Well, the weather's gotten good, and so everybody's probably out there having a bit of time in the sun. So to that, I would lovingly say, knock that shit off and get back to throwing money in the kitty because your uncles need liquor.
Daddy needs a bottle. All right.
Yes.
Let's move on, shall we?
Moving on. Well, Uncle Dan.
Yes, sir.
There are times, as our listeners know, where we talk out of our asses about shit we have no actual clue about.
Never, ever, and I resent you even suggesting that.
Noted. But there are other times when we actually know quite a bit about a thing for one reason or another, and so this might be something not to fast forward through, y'all.
Maybe. We'll see. We've brought Uncle Doug in to help us out as well.
Because I'm an expert on this subject.
You know, here's the thing. We all have our own perspectives on this. This is a how-to, and this is an interesting one. And here's the thing, Uncle Mark. I think you are going into this segment thinking that you're the expert on this. But I don't think you had to deal with what we're going to be talking about as much as Uncle Doug and I did.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Which is to say, we're talking about how to get over your homophobia.
Yeah,
now,
I'll just hang back. I got nothing to say here.
deal with homophobia a lot, and you, as a gay man, your input is invaluable in this conversation. That's not what I mean to imply. What I'm implying is that I actually had some pretty solid good homophobia, and I'm guessing Uncle Mark did, or Uncle Doug did too.
Oh yeah.
You may have had some lovely internalized homophobia in you as well, Uncle Mark.
For sure.
But I think as a gay person, you might not have had to deal with the same thing that we straight folk got to deal with, which was that it can feel totally real that whatever your church tells you gay is, it's more, I'm guessing, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, I'm guessing it's more believable to those of us who don't experience anything like homosexuality. Does that make sense?
That they're telling you that homosexuality, that your church telling you homosexuality is not real? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like for instance, so the three of us grew up LDS. The Mormon Church back in our day would tell us that homosexuality was a choice, would tell us that homosexuality was a product of a sinful mind, or was a product of any number of
the result of a slippery slope rather than bad decisions,
bad choices, and stuff. That's what led someone to homosexuality, and it was something that was curable. It was something that could be got rid of. With faith and effort.
Yeah.
Well, of course, I think you're completely right that if you, if you come from the side where it's like men talking about religious men and the patriarchy talking about women.
Right.
Right. They may have observed a thing or two, but they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Right. They feel like whatever they convince themselves of is obviously true. Because it's not a perspective that they not only don't have, it's a perspective they're uninterested in understanding.
Well, and
so
afraid of understanding, afraid of seeking that input, because it challenges their sense of they themselves being the authority on all of the things.
Of course, when you claim to have access to the knowledge, when you claim to have access to the creator of the universe and all of his opinions, you can hardly be wrong about something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So why don't you guys talk a little bit about your, from your perspective, what it was like, being so, I remember what it was like being so, the air being so infused with rabid homophobia.
Right.
It was, the Mormon Church.
And so I had my own experiences, but I'd like to hear you guys talk about what it was like from the other side of that.
Well, the Mormon Church, and we all experienced this at the same time, more or less, was drastically more homophobic than it is today. And it is a very homophobic organization today.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But, I remember when I was young, I this is going to sound so horrible when I say this, but when I was in junior high school and high school, I didn't know any gay people. Or so I thought.
Right.
Because nobody was out.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That's right.
It was not an environment you could be out in. In hindsight, I think back on people that were in my life, and I'm like, oh my God. And people who I have since, still know, who have come out of the closet. And it kind of, thinking back from a more enlightened stance that I have now, I'm like, oh my God, of course they were gay.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a reference point, and I didn't believe anybody was gay. And I didn't believe, I thought gayness was something that happened to other people in far off places. Right.
Like Las Vegas.
Right. Totally like Las Vegas. Absolutely. And I had, in particular, I had this one seminary teacher, and seminary is religious indoctrination in high school for.
Yeah. In Mormonism, all the words mean the wrong things, but yes, it was like a class that we all were expected to go to.
Yeah.
It wasn't required, obviously, by the public schools, but the public schools, they all had, in Utah, they all have buildings, and we go. You leave your main building, your main high school building, and you cross the street, or you just go around the corner, and then you're there.
There's a street usually separating church and state,
right?
Which is impressive even. Anyway, I had this one teacher, and I forget his name, but all he ever talked about was homosexuality. All he ever talked about. And whenever General Conference happened, and there were protesters who would typically chant, "We're queer, we're here," he would get so over the moon about it, and he would froth at the mouth, and spittle would fly. And only in hindsight is it obvious that he was clearly wrestling with some demons.
Right.
And I doubt very much that it ended well for him. But it didn't occur to me. I was so poorly equipped to understand other people's sexuality and other people's lives.
Right.
That I couldn't fathom there would be a gay person in my presence. It just didn't occur to me.
Yeah, here's the thing. I was in theater as a young person. So I was.
What are you implying, Dan? What are you inferring here?
I think I'm implying that I'm gay. I'm not sure about that. Or at least that was the perception of many of my counterparts in high school. But here's the thing. To confirm what Doug was saying, like, there were people among us theater folk who were so gay, like the gayest,
Right.
who wouldn't come out to us.
Right.
Like, we're the theater nerds. You can come out to us. Safe space. But no, I mean, it was... So I knew that there were gay people around me, but was a little confused about it because A, they wouldn't come out to me, and B, I was a Mormon. And as a Mormon, I was pretty sure that all the straight white men downtown were telling me the truth, and that gay people were just deceived, or they were fallen, or they were sinful, or they were, any of these stories about where gay kind of comes from. And I just, and it took me a lot, it threw me for a loop trying to square that circle, trying to like say, yes, the brethren downtown are obviously divinely inspired, so they're right. Mm-hmm. But also, like, these people that I know are good people.
Yeah.
Are fine people, and Lord knows I'm no better than they are because I keep touching boobs even though I'm not supposed to. So it was just, but it took me a while after I left the church even to really get over my homophobia.
Yeah. And the most insidious part of it is I didn't know I was being homophobic.
Right.
I would say, in hindsight, unbelievably terrible things about homosexuals, probably with homosexuals, people in the closet around. And I didn't know it was bad. I really didn't.
Right.
And you kind of, you contextualize it and you look back on it and you're like, oh my God. And adults were allowing me to say these things. I would say things on scouting trips with the other scouts, with an adult sitting around the campfire.
Oh, yeah. They were loving it, probably.
Yeah, they thought it was hilarious.
Now, Mark...
Yeah.
You, sir, are a gay man.
Indeed.
I know it's not my place to out you, but I think
Doug, I have some news for you.
What?
So one of the things that I want to do, I mean, because
we bathed together.
That's probably true. And now we know why Mark is gay. One of the things I want to do is I want to talk gently to people who may be just out of their restrictive religions. Because this is not, like, for us, we have fully processed this shit, and it feels just stone cold ridiculous to be remotely homophobic at this point.
Right.
But I would like you to affirm to our friends out there, Just talk to us about your experience of growing up homosexual in a religion, and why didn't you get rid of it?
Well, first point of order: most gay people really do not like the word homosexual. So
is that true?
Yeah. It's kind of considered a slur from like the clinical side when it was when being gay was considered a mental problem or a disease.
Right.
So, but we'll forget about that.
Well,
no, don't forget about that.
Let me ask you this question.
Fascinating, because I did not know that. How did I not know that?
Right. Well, let me ask you, Mark, because when I was a kid, our biggest slur for gay people was not fag, it was homo.
Right.
Interesting.
Is that because if somebody acted effeminately in an effeminate way, we would call them a homo, not a fag.
Right.
Is that part of it?
It probably is. It probably is. I think it's more that gay people, the what was it? Not the physician's desk reference, but what's the
psychological disorder.
Yep.
Yeah. The DSR or whatever it is.
Right. It wasn't until 73, I think, that it was taken out as a mental disorder, and then another medical diagnostic book had it in as a disorder until the 90s.
Wow.
So I think a lot of people, or until 1990, I think a lot of people feel like it's a clinical slur for a disorder rather than what it really is, which is just, a nature of being in the same way that having blue eyes or being left-handed is, right?
Right.
So
all of which are abominations.
So
You're outnumbered here.
No. So that aside, my experience growing up with it was it was very confusing, and certainly, as Doug said, he didn't know any out gay people. I certainly, I'm 6 years older. I certainly did not know any out gay people. There were some figures on television that were a little bit curious.
Right.
There was Paul Lynde. Younger viewers, listeners are going to have no idea who these people are. Paul Lynde and Rip Taylor and just these kind of minstrel clowns.
Right.
These gay clowns that were on television, but they were so outlandish that it was a strange cover for what they were, and they were funny. Well, even though they were really self-hating, they were funny, and so they kind of were allowed in society.
Well, and strangely, they were largely cast as like heterosexuals. Like you'd see Paul Lynde playing a father, and you'd see and Liberace talking about all the women that he wants to date and whatever.
Right. So anyway, there were the media, the Will and Graces and all that stuff hadn't happened yet, and so the media landscape was devoid of any positive role models. Certainly, conservative Mormonism in Salt Lake City was devoid of any positive role models, gay or straight, I might add. So when I began to develop these feelings about life, at like 10, 11 years old, I really was on my own. There was no help for me. Even if my family had been a functional, decent Mormon family, there still wouldn't have been help for me, but they were not that.
Right.
They were a huge mess. So I was just very much isolated. So here's what comes out of that is not only burying yourself so deep, there are certain panics that happen. Unfortunately, that's not the case anymore, but unfortunately, I was a good-looking young man, and so I got the attention of young women, and that became really tough. That became really scary because it was, in a way, girls were an alien species to me.
Yeah.
I didn't get it, and I saw my classmates, other boys, like losing their minds over girls, and it just wasn't happening to me, and my heart would get broken, even though I didn't know that's what it was happening, when a friend of mine would suddenly develop a crush on a girl. There was no, you know what I mean? I so relished that closeness with someone, but I could never have I couldn't have let myself go to a place where it was romantic. In fact, there was one boy in my junior high school who was a year older than me, and I remember I fell so in love with him that I purposefully refused to learn his name so that I wouldn't call it out in my sleep.
Wow.
That's how, because I was so scared of being discovered.
Because I would have told on him.
Yeah, because we all slept in the same room, and that's actually true. So,
holy shit.
So
did you ever, sorry to interrupt you, but I suddenly became curious because I've heard of this happening. Did you ever, with girls, retreat to Mormonism as your out for why you didn't want to make out or why you didn't want to touch them or anything like that?
Oh my God, absolutely. Absolutely.
See, it has a purpose.
It's got value.
See?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to rethink this whole thing. So there was that panic, and I probably went to like every girl's choice dance in high school.
You did, I remember.
And they were terrifying events to me. They were so fucking frightening. Because I didn't know how to handle. It's like living behind enemy lines. You're going to get discovered. You're going to hold up your fingers, showing the wrong way to count to 3.
Someone's going to demand your papers, and then you're out.
Exactly. So it was a really the isolation and the violence at home were not helpful. So I was very much on my own. And then the other panic that I think really underlies a lot of homophobia generally that happens is, again, you're terrified you're going to be discovered. And I always tried to, I tried to not be a homophobe.
Right.
I tried to not be that person, but there were moments where I felt really threatened and panicked. And so I would be demonstratively homophobic.
Of course.
Right.
You know, there'd be some kid who was, luckily I never seemed very effeminate. My personality type, I could quote unquote pass. It's a terrible thing to say. But there were certain boys that had a harder time.
Sure.
And, you know, in moments of threat, I'd say, oh, Eric, he's such a fag.
Yeah.
And I deeply, deeply regret, you know, ever having been that person, but I also forgive the kid that I was.
It was a defense mechanism.
It was a defense mechanism to the point where I thought my life would be in danger.
Yeah.
Not so much, you know, I lived in the east side of Salt Lake City. It's not like I was going to get murdered, right? It was rich white boys, you know, with popped collars on their polo shirts calling each other fag, right?
Right.
So, but I was more worried that I would be murdered at home. So I had to find a way to, you know, live under the radar. And in fact, we've talked about it on the show. I feel like before I knew what it was, I was an atheist, right?
Sure.
I felt no affinity for the church. I felt no love for religion or scripture, fucking any of it. So intellectually, I was out of that shit way, way, way earlier. But here's how crazy these coercions are, and here's how destructive homophobia is inside religion. Is I was 21 or 20. I was probably 21 before I masturbated.
Oh my God.
And here's the reason why, is because the things that turned me on were dangerous. The things that like, if I allowed myself to go to that fantasy place, to my spank bank, that was an admission of what I was to myself.
Plus, if you got caught, and I know this for a fact, if you had been caught with some kind of gay pornography or some kind of, like, not even gay pornography, like the J. Crew catalog with the men's section or whatever, you know what I mean? Because that's all we had available to us when we were kids.
With a couple sticky pages.
Yeah. That could have been literally very dangerous for you.
I could have. Our parents nearly murdered us for no reason at all. Sometimes,
right?
Given a reason, you know, they nearly murdered us because it was a Saturday. So, given a reason, I think it was very risky. All that aside,
but let's also not gloss over the fact that even without the risk of physical harm, the emotional harm is so present and just every bit as awful.
Right. And so I carried. I never believed the church was true. None of that ever mattered to me. But yet, the hatred, the self-hatred that, you know, the poison I imbibed was so destructive that it took, you know, I came out at probably 24, 25, which feels very late to me, but for my generation of gay religious people, I probably was a little ahead of the curve. The generation just older than me, some of them never came out. They ended up, and this is what Doug was talking about with the seminary teacher. It's very common in Mormonism for these guys to go into teaching seminary, which kind of is the Mormon equivalent to the Catholic priesthood. You know, it's a place to hide, and so there are these little islands we create for ourselves. And my island was my little cat, and she was the only thing that I felt loved me in the world, and so that was a safe space for me. These other, you know, these theater kids you were talking about, Dan, even though they couldn't even be out there, that you would think putting on Guys and Dolls is like the safest space you can be for a gay kid. They still couldn't be out, but at least there they could be a bit more themselves. Right. And so that's kind of the experience. And we've said this when I've been on TGIA with you and on this show a little bit. If some Christian, if some religious person is screaming about gay people, is nonstop frothing about gay people and thinking about gay sex all the time, there's a reason they're thinking about gay sex all the time. Right. So unfortunately, homophobia is so often driven by this hatred of self that is programmed into you. And, you know, a lot of these kids in high school that are pushing gay kids around, or in middle school or whatever, it's not uncommon for heterosexual kids and I know that I think as a podcast we need to get away from gender binaries and all that kind of stuff a little bit and join the rest of the world, join the modern world. But it is not uncommon for boys especially, that would later identify as cis heterosexual males to experience crushes on male friends as they're sexually maturing, right? Mm-hmm. It's not, even if they're not gay, they might find themselves in a really puzzling moment, and it freaks them the fuck out.
Right.
And if layered on top of that is religious indoctrination and all that poison based on 2 passages in the Bible, or whatever it is, then it's incredibly destructive. Now, we know in our state we have, one of the highest teen homelessness rates in the country, and certainly a very, very high teen suicide rate.
Right.
And I was just reading before we went on air that I can't remember who it was, which it might be the Pride Center, figures that half of the homeless teenagers in Utah are LGBT,
right,
and like 40% of the teen suicides or something like that in Utah are LGBT kids. So what is it about Utah?
Right.
Is it the red rock that makes them kill themselves?
Right. It's those.
Is it
it's
the beautiful
the
snow? Yeah. Is it the best snow on earth that makes them kill themselves? Maybe it's something else.
Right.
So,
well,
yeah.
So here's where I want to go with this. The reason, thank you for sharing that story, and part of the reason that I wanted you to share your story is because I think that the first step in letting go of our homophobia is humanizing anyone who has been labeled other.
Yeah.
Because we in our little cult, and so many people in their religions worldwide, have been told, have had the LGBT community dehumanized for them.
Yeah.
And
right.
systematically so.
Right.
So I think the first thing we need to do, and here's the thing. If someone's fresh out of their religion and they're still finding themselves feeling homophobia inside of themselves, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
That's been programmed in there. I do blame you if you don't try to get rid of it.
Exactly.
And so that's what this is about.
I came out of Mormonism with a substantial level of homophobia.
Right.
Right.
And you're a gay man.
And part of the reason I had to break with Mormonism at the age of 12, when I first started trying to separate myself, it was because I was gay.
Right.
And yet I still had so much internalized hatred and pain and confusion.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's all gone now. I'm fine. I'm good.
Yeah.
Just ask my husband how totally fine I am.
Nobody who does a podcast based around exploring religion has any lingering problems
Any
with their
cobwebs in the attic.
Yeah, it's so little baggage that I only need 8 bellhops. So, but yeah, I think you're right. And we had our friend Riz McCool on, who is a trans activist, and she said something that I think is really great, because she was trying to talk us through, trans. How she was doing it. We were doing a segment just like this with her, which was how to think and talk about trans issues after you leave religion.
right.
And I can't remember exactly how she phrased it, but it was something like, "I'm willing to forgive mistakes." So there's as people are trying to come out of religion, I don't mean coming out of the closet, but coming out of religion,
Right.
it's super frustrating for those of us that are around them, because they can kind of be bulls in the china shop.
Yeah.
It's confusing and it's scary.
And that's
And you've never had to think through these great moral issues, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So they're going to be messy. So let them be messy, and have some patience with them. Like, here's a perfect example. When Doug was coming out of Mormonism, it was a pretty messy time for us, right, Doug?
yeah.
And it took him a long time to kind of reconcile, I think, all that fucking program, because Doug was in hook, line, and sinker until like halfway through his mission.
And I'm fine now, just like you. Everything is hunky dory. No,
Yeah.
and I would say more to that point, to that process, is the advice I would give to any listeners who are in the moment, leaving religion or have left and are kind of trying to put together a life outside of religion, that are dealing with, latent homophobia from that programming, bigotry, misogyny, racism that comes from those traditions, that no one owes you an explanation for how they are. And you can't demand it, you can't expect it, and you shouldn't ask for it, honestly. If you have trouble with the way people are, that's your problem. And you need to work through that. But everyone's on their own journey. We are all trying to do our own thing. And if you have homophobia, or you have a visceral reaction when you see two men holding hands, or two women kissing, or a transgender person on the street, that's your problem. And you need to deal with that. But you need to leave them alone. You know what I mean? Like, I look back on some of my ham-fisted attempts to ask for people to explain themselves to me, and ask, and I, in hindsight, I'm mortified by it, because I got there, but I don't think I did damage, but I certainly made myself look like an ass in that process.
And you may have hurt some feelings.
I most definitely hurt some feelings,
and that's just bullshit.
It's a failure. It was people doing that. Maybe you're coming out of religion, but you have yet at that way. If you're doing that thing, you have yet to leave behind the presumption of privilege that you didn't even know you had.
Yep.
Right.
That demanding a person must justify their existence to you.
Exactly.
That a person must defend their personhood to you.
Yeah.
Because of your lack of understanding is fucked up.
Right.
Now I'm working on a project right now where there's an older guy who's a really nice dude. I like him a lot, and he said something pretty homophobic the other day. I don't think he meant to. And the supervisor we were with after was like, "Are you okay with that? Is it fine?" And I said, "You know what? This is the job of being because again, I'm not always pegged for being a gay person straight off, right? Even though I'm wearing like leather pants right now and knee socks, super short shorts and all that, people just are like, wow, he's just eccentric. But anyway, the supervisor was like, you have a problem with this? And I said, let's give this guy some room. And after we're new to each other, after he respects me as a professional, then finds out I'm a gay guy, hopefully he'll have a little bit of a long, dark night and think about what he did, right?
Right.
I didn't want to be confrontive or pick on a guy. He's just an older guy from a different generation that probably didn't realize he was being a schmuck. Because, again, with homophobia, it is so fucking pervasive.
Right.
Again, we talked about this with Riz when she was on the show. A lot of us grew up, we're young people in the 90s watching television, watching Friends and watching Seinfeld. You go back and watch some of that stuff. There was such a presumption that, queer is weird, and it was okay.
Yeah.
Not there's anything wrong with that.
Right. You watch Adam Sandler movies and you watch Jim Carrey movies, and as Riz said, the trans people are always like evil, or they're trying to make you like trying to fool you,
right.
And gay people are always just these stereotypes. So it very recently it's been so pervasive in the culture. So, I counsel a little bit of patience with that. For gay friends out there listening, I counsel a little bit of patience, even though it can be exhausting. But what Doug said is exactly right. Who we are is who we are. We're not your problem.
Well, and who you love,
you're your problem.
And here's the other thing. The other place that I wanted to go with this is that, if you do have it may be that you like intellectually you've worked yourself through the whole gay thing, and like on some level you're okay with it, but then you see two guys kissing and it freaks you out a little bit.
Yep.
And that that's bound to happen. Certainly happened for me. In my process of sort of sorting through all this stuff, the thing that finally made me say, look, I'm not a Mormon anymore for sure, was when I talked to a friend of mine who was gay, who had tried to be Mormon, who had done all the right things, prayed all the right ways, gone on his mission, and was suicidal because he hadn't been able to kick it, to kick
right.
the nasty liking boys habit. And when then I had to ask myself what kind of a God would make you a certain way and then command you not to be that way. It just felt
right.
like that could only be either a cruel joke or maybe this whole thing is stupid. And that was when I stopped being Mormon.
Right.
But I think, it took me a lot longer to be okay with gay being manifest however that man or woman wanted to manifest their gayness.
Right.
I went
Right.
through a period where it was like, fine to be gay, but, don't touch me, or fine to be gay, but don't display, but why do you have to be so flouncy about it?
Right.
Fine to be gay, but fucking why are you wearing glitter all the time?
Right. Dial it down.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't rub it in my face.
Conform to who I think people should be.
Right.
Because my comfort level is the standard by which society should operate.
Right, exactly. And it's
Right.
funny, and this isn't just straight people. Like, and as you say, Mark, I have a dear friend who was in his 30s before he was even okay. This is a guy who's gay, and has always been, but yet he was a football player. He's as masculine as they come. He's as
Right.
like you, Mark. He not just passes, but like people are shocked to learn that he's gay.
Yeah. Right.
And he wasn't okay with more effeminate men. He wasn't okay with that. He had
It's
found
a
a
problem,
comfortable
actually.
place in his brain where gay men, he could be an okay gay guy because he was so masculine.
Yeah,
So
it's actually a problem in the gay community,
Right.
That typically guys, I guess you would say like me, that kind of pass. I think it's so ingrained in us that more quote unquote flouncy gay guys actually threaten what was our safe space when we were in the closet.
Right.
That there's this weird like the Seattle the Stranger, the Seattle newspaper that Dan Savage writes for. It used to be very common in want ads back when that was a thing, when you'd put like personal ads in the paper to
Right.
meet people. It was very common to say no femmes,
Right.
for gay guys to say no femmes. And he, because of Dan Savage, that was the first newspaper to do away with that.
Oh, right.
Because he's like, that's bullshit. That's a homophobic presumption.
Right.
So, I
remember gay,
I was in that space for a while.
I remember gay ads talking about themselves as straight acting, straight seeming, sort of,
Right.
and that was a positive. That was thought to be a positive. Well, here's the thing, ladies and germs. If you have any of these preconceptions, if you are thinking, if you're in a part of your journey with homosexuality or with LGBTQ issues where you can get your mind to some parts of it but not to others, that's okay. But know that there is a place that you need to be shooting for.
Right.
And I think that is not only just frankly don't shoot for acceptance. Acceptance is like one step in the road. Shoot for celebration.
Right.
Because this world, every human is struggling in this world, and we need to create a world for each other where we can celebrate everybody.
Right, and let me actually temper that a little bit, because you were talking about, oh, gross, when I used to be gross. I see two guys kissing. Ugh.
Right.
Well, let me I'm certainly not offended by watching straight people kiss, because if I was, I couldn't leave the house.
Right.
But let me temper that for people that still are maybe struggling a little bit. I will not go out of my way to watch I don't watch a lot of porn, but I will not go out of my way to watch heterosexual pornography.
Right.
It doesn't interest me. Right. I'm not. I can accept that heterosexuality exists, just as homosexuality exists. But you don't have to like it. You don't have to think that acceptance means it's okay to have a level of discomfort somewhere, I think.
Sure.
Right? I think that's fine. And even if you have that level of discomfort, what's more important to realize is, kind of going back to what Doug was saying, is maybe I find it distasteful, maybe I'm still working through my religious shit, but it's not my fucking business.
Yes.
Right? It's not my business what two people do with their lives. And here's the other thing I want to get away from that happens a lot in these discussions. is people saying, and allies, straight allies saying this a lot, what goes on in two people's bedrooms is none of my business. Well, it's not just that.
Right.
The sex and homosexuality is as much a part of being homosexual as sex in heterosexuality is being part of heterosexual.
Right. It's being
it is a
gay
whole
is
brain
not
wiring.
about sex.
No, it's not. And
Exactly. So it's more than that. We have jobs and we have families and we work and so we're gay in all those places too.
Right.
We're gay in everything we do. It's just who we are. So it's not just about sex. It's not just about the bedroom. It's also not your business what goes on in front of closed doors, right?
Sure.
So it's not the problem of the gay people if you're uncomfortable with it, even though I accept it's okay for you to be uncomfortable with it.
yeah.
Indeed.
And if that's where you are in the process, it's a process.
Yeah.
Some people are at the beginning, some people are near towards the end. But the biggest piece of advice I can give, and if I could have given it to myself at 22, it's my problem.
Yeah.
No one owes me an explanation. I have to find my way, and I have to become accepting and celebratory of other people for who they are on my terms, on their terms, not on my terms.
Right.
It's I've got to find my way through this wicket, and no one owes you an explanation. You just
That's right.
understand that.
Right. I guess where I was going, and I'm going to circle back to it. I know you tried to undercut it, Mark, but I'm getting back to it, which is that I am a happier and healthier person when I love other people being themselves. I don't have to like that self. I don't have to want to hang out with that self, whoever that is. But when I can celebrate the fact that they're able to be themselves, and when I can celebrate, if they love another person, I celebrate that. And I don't care who it is, and I don't care how they choose to love.
Right.
So I think the goal, and this is better for society if we can all get to that point, but it's better for you individually if you can be happy celebrating other people.
Because homophobia is hate.
Yeah.
It's hate, and you cling to that hate. You have it in your heart, even if you don't know it's there. Like when I was young and I didn't know I was being homophobic.
Right.
I was hating, and it's freeing and healthy, and it's a wonderful experience to let go, to shed a layer of hate. It's you're better for it. The world and you. I agree.
Yep.
All
we
right.
solved it, guys. We cracked it.
We did it. All right. So everyone who's listened to this now loves the gay people. So good. I guess we can move on then.
Yeah, easy peasy. Let's move on. Well, friends, that's it for this week's show.
Yeah. Hey, if you're still homophobic, we'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and send us an email, howto@howtoheretic.com.
And you know what? That's actually true. If you're still homophobic, or you're struggling with it, honestly, send us an email and we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Yeah.
Or if you have a banana beer recipe you'd like to share, you can leave us a voicemail at 903-88-HOW-TO, which is 903-884-6986. You can also yell at me on Twitter at howtoheretic.
Yeah, or go to the Facebook page and like that, and every now and then you'll see something.
Exactly. Every once a year, whether we need it or not.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks again to our patrons. We love you so much.
And also, if you can't throw any money in the kitty, please go to iTunes or wherever you might rate us. Give us a 5-star review, mostly because it helps spread the word and spread the love around. Thanks, Cody Layton, for editing the show.
And thank you, dear friends, for tuning in.
Bye-bye, friends.